On Saturday, New York felt like early spring. By Monday morning, the city itself had turned deadly. In 1888, the White Hurricane hit without warning. It trapped 15,000 people in trains suspended in the sky. It froze birds in midair. And it turned the most modern city on Earth into a silent graveyard. This isn't just a snowstorm. This is the story of how New York City almost ended. And you are going to experience every frozen minute of it. Imagine you wake up in your tenement apartment on the Lower East Side. It's Monday morning, March 12th, 1888. You're a telegraph operator, and you've got to get to work in the financial district. You splash cold water on your face from the basin and look out the window. The thermometer reads 33 degrees, unseasonably warm for March. But something feels wrong. The sky has this strange greenish-gray color to it, the kind of sky that makes the hairs on your neck stand up. You brush it off. You've got bills to pay, and the Western Union office doesn't run itself. You grab your coat and hat, kiss your wife goodbye, and head down 4 flights of narrow stairs to the street. The city is alive. Vendors are calling out their wares. Businessmen in bowler hats rush past. Horse-drawn carriages clatter over the cobblestones. Newsboys wave papers, shouting about yesterday's political news. Everything is normal. Everything is fine. Except the wind. It's picking up fast, really fast. You make your way to the elevated train station at Chatham Square. The platform is crowded with the usual morning rush. Factory workers, shop girls, clerks, everyone trying to get to work on time. You notice people looking up at the sky more than usual. That greenish color is getting darker. The train arrives. You board. As it lurches forward, heading toward Lower Manhattan, you see it through the window. A wall. A massive, solid wall of white, rolling in from the northwest like something alive. And it's coming fast. Flakes are falling, but these aren't gentle snowflakes. These are hard pellets of ice, driven sideways by wind that's growing louder by the second. You barely make it through the door before it hits. Within 5 minutes, you can't see across the street. Within 10, you can't see the building next door. The wind isn't howling, it's roaring, a constant deafening scream that rattles the windows and shakes the entire building. You're standing at your telegraph station, trying to keep the lines open, when your supervisor shouts over the noise. Winds are hitting 80 miles per hour. Temperatures dropped 40 degrees in 1 hour. You look out the window. The snow isn't falling down. It's flying horizontal. The entire world outside has disappeared into a churning white chaos. You can barely make out the elevated train tracks across the street. And what you see makes your blood run cold. There's a train stopped on the tracks, just sitting there, packed with passengers, not moving. Your supervisor confirms it. All the elevated lines are shut down, frozen solid. There's over 15,000 people trapped in those trains right now. 15,000 trapped in metal boxes suspended 30 feet in the air. No heat, no way down. The temperature is still dropping. You try to send a message to the main office uptown. The line is dead. You try Brooklyn, dead. You try Boston, Philadelphia, Washington. Every single line goes silent within the hour. The entire telegraph network of the eastern United States has collapsed. Miles and miles of wire are coming down under the weight of ice and the force of the wind. New York City, the communications hub of America, is now completely cut off from the world, and you're trapped inside this building with 15 other people, watching the greatest city in America disappear under a white avalanche. The door won't open. 4 of you try together, throwing your weight against it. It moves maybe an inch before slamming back. There's at least 4 feet of snow piled against it on the other side. Silent. One of your co-workers, a man named Sullivan, says he saw people trying to walk through it before visibility went to 0. They were leaning forward at a 45-degree angle just to stay upright, he says. One woman got blown right off her feet, just gone into the white. You can hear things outside, not clearly, but enough. Crashes, the screech and groan of metal, breaking glass, and underneath it all, faint and terrible, screaming. People are out there. People are dying out there, and there's nothing you can do. The building shakes with every gust. Snow is forcing its way through cracks around the windows. The temperature inside is dropping fast. Someone suggests burning office furniture for heat, and nobody argues. Within an hour, you've got a small fire going in a metal wastebasket. It's not much, but it's something. Through a brief clearing in the storm, you look out the window and your heart stops. The snow has drifted up to the second-story windows of the building across the street. 20 feet of snow in just a few hours. You can see shapes in those drifts, dark shapes. Some of them are moving, most aren't. Someone mentions the fire department, but the horse-drawn fire wagons can't move through this. Even if they could, the horses are dying. Across the city, over 5,000 horses will freeze or suffocate in the snow. You can smell smoke. Buildings are burning somewhere in the city, and nobody can reach them. New York City is home to over 1 million people. Right now, in this moment, every single one of them is trapped, separated, isolated. The most connected city in America has become 1,000 separate islands of survival. Your wife is 4 miles away. You have no way to reach her, no way to know if she's safe, no way to tell her you're alive. All you can do is feed another chair leg into the fire and wait. The first night is the worst. The temperature outside hits 10 degrees below 0. With the wind chill, it's 50 below, the kind of cold that kills in minutes. Ya take turns sleeping, huddled together for warmth near the small fire. The wind never stops. It's constant, relentless, like the city itself is screaming. Every few minutes you hear something crash or snap in the distance, buildings collapsing under the weight, telegraph poles snapping like matchsticks. Around midnight, someone asks the question everyone's been avoiding. What about the people in the elevated trains? You all know the answer. Those trains are metal. They're 30 feet in the air, fully exposed to the wind. No heat, no food, no water. Over 15,000 people trapped inside them, scattered across dozens of frozen trains throughout the city. Some of them will survive. Many won't. Passengers will freeze to death in their seats, still clutching their briefcases and purses, still waiting for the train to start moving. One of your co-workers mentions the harbor. My brother works the docks, he says. There were over 200 ships in port when this hit. His voice trails off. Nobody needs him to finish. Those ships are gone, sunk, smashed, or frozen solid in the ice. The sailors aboard them don't stand a chance. You try not to think about your wife, about your tenement building with its thin walls and single coal stove, about whether she has enough fuel, enough food, whether she's warm. The condensation from everyone's breath has frozen on the walls. The inside of the building is covered in a thin layer of ice. Your fingers are numb even near the fire. Your face aches from the cold. And outside, the snow keeps falling, the wind keeps howling. The city of 1,000,000 people has gone completely silent underneath it all. No trains, no carriages, no voices calling out, just the wind and the snow and the crushing weight of isolation. This is only the first night. 2 more to go. Tuesday morning, March 13th. The wind has finally stopped, but the snow is still falling. Thick, heavy, endless. You force open a window on the 2nd floor. The door is still completely blocked. You need to see what's happened to the city. What you see doesn't make sense. Your brain can't process it. The street is gone. Created an entirely new landscape, rising and falling in massive white waves. Some drifts are 20 feet high, some are 50. They've erased entire blocks, swallowed whole buildings. And the silence. God, the silence. 1,000,000 people live in this city. Right now you can't hear a single sound. No trains, no horses, no voices, nothing. Just the soft hiss of falling snow. You see shapes in the drifts. A horse, frozen solid, still attached to its carriage. A street lamp, bent almost horizontal. A pile of what might be crates, or might be something else. One of your coworkers points. Is that? You see it. A hand, sticking out of a drift, not moving. Across the city people are dying, not from violence or disease, but from simple, brutal cold and isolation. A milkman will be found frozen to death just 100 feet from his front door. He'd gotten lost in the white, walked in circles, and died within sight of safety. A 13-year-old newsboy named Samuel Randall will be found frozen solid, still clutching his stack of newspapers. He'd tried to finish his route. He'd tried to do his job. Office workers, like you, trapped in buildings without food or heat. Families separated, with no way to communicate. Husbands at work, wives and children at home. Nobody knowing if their loved ones are alive or dead. The elevated trains are still visible, dark shapes suspended above the white. You can see people moving inside some of them. After a full day and night in freezing metal boxes, many of them are trying to climb down. It's a 30-foot drop into snowdrifts of unknown depth. Some make it, some don't. By the time this is over 400 people will be dead. 400 souls lost in 3 days. In America's greatest city, in the modern age of technology and progress. The telegraph system that connected the entire eastern seaboard is destroyed. Over 10,000 miles of wire are down. It will take months to repair, and this disaster will change everything. The city leaders will realize that above-ground systems are too vulnerable, too exposed. This blizzard will directly lead to the creation of New York's subway system. The city will go underground, where snow and wind can never reach it again. But right now, on day 2, trapped in this office, none of that matters. All that matters is survival, and hope that day 3 comes faster than day 2. It's Wednesday, March 14th, day 3. The snow has finally stopped. But the damage is done. You've been trapped for over 50 hours. There's no food left. The water is frozen solid. You've burned almost everything in the office that will burn. Everyone's lips are cracked and bleeding. Your feet are numb. You can't remember the last time you felt your fingers. Through the window you see movement, real movement. People are digging. Rescue crews with shovels are trying to clear paths through the 20-foot drifts. But it's slow work, impossibly slow, for every foot they clear. The drifts shift and fill in behind them. You see bodies being pulled from the snow. They're wrapped in whatever cloth is available and laid out in rows. There are so many. Too many. Someone finally manages to break through to your building. The door crashes open, and cold air rushes in, somehow even colder than what you've been breathing for 3 days. A man in a heavy coat, his face wrapped in cloth, shouts, "Everyone who can walk, we're getting you out. Stay together. Stay close." You file out into a world that doesn't look like New York anymore. The elevated train tracks are sagging under ice and snow. Buildings have collapsed. Telegraph poles are snapped and tangled like a giant's forgotten game. The drifts have created hills and valleys where streets used to be. You see one of the elevated trains being evacuated. Bodies are being carried down on makeshift stretchers. Some passengers froze to death in their seats, still waiting for the train to move, still believing rescue would come. A woman is crying, asking everyone she sees if they've seen her husband. He'd gone to work Monday morning. She hasn't heard from him since. There are thousands of stories like hers across the city. The financial cost will be staggering. $25 million in damage. In today's money, that's nearly $800 million. The entire economy of the eastern seaboard has been shut down for 3 days. Over 5,000 horses are dead. Hundreds of buildings are damaged or destroyed. The elevated train system is wrecked. The telegraph network is gone. But the human cost is what stays with you. 400 people dead in 3 days in a modern city in 1888. You start the long walk home, 4 miles, through snow that's still waist-deep in places, past frozen horses, past bodies still being uncovered, past people calling out names, hoping for answers that won't come. It takes you 6 hours to walk 4 miles. 6 hours of climbing over drifts, sliding down snowbanks, following paths carved by other desperate people trying to reach home. When you finally reach your tenement building, your wife throws open the door before you can knock. She'd been watching from the window, waiting. She'd thought you were dead. You hold each other and don't speak. There are no words for what the city has been through. No words for the relief of survival. Over the next few days, New York begins to dig itself out. But it's not a fast process. Some drifts are 50 feet high. Some won't fully melt until July. 4 months from now, piles of snow will still be sitting in the streets, black with soot and dirt, reminders of what happened. The death toll keeps rising as more bodies are found. Estimates range from 400 to 800 dead. The exact number will never be known. Some people simply disappeared into the white and were never found. But something else is happening too. The city is changing. The telegraph companies start putting their wires underground. Too many lines came down. Too much communication was lost. It can't happen again. The elevated train system, once considered the height of modern transportation, is now seen as dangerously exposed. City planners start drawing up designs for something new, something protected, something underground. The subway, born from disaster, created because New York learned it could be paralyzed, learned it could be silenced. Over the next decade, the city will burrow beneath itself, creating a transportation system that weather cannot touch. The trains that once ran exposed to the sky will be replaced by trains that run in tunnels, safe from snow and wind. The Great Blizzard of 1888 killed over 400 people. It destroyed the telegraph network. It shut down the most powerful city in America for 3 days. It proved that nature could bring modern civilization to its knees. But it also proved something else. That New York doesn't stay down. That disaster leads to innovation. That the city that never sleeps can be buried, can be frozen, can be silenced. But it cannot be defeated. The blizzard of 1888 is long over. But every time you ride the New York subway, you're traveling through tunnels that exist because of 3 days in March when the city learned to go underground. When the White Wall came, when the telegraph wires fell, when 400 souls were lost to the snow, and when New York decided it would never happen again. Follow for more